Adam Sandler song did that open? What Adam Sandler movie did that open with?
I'm not sure what that Born on the Bayou.
Maybe it was Waterboy.
That's a bad jam.
Do you
That's
ever-
one of my all-time favorite. That makes me feel like American, that jam.
Really?
Yeah, that song fires me up in the morning.
Do you ever do that? Like, I know you must, but like something with that, I immediately thought of Waterboy. Like when you hear that, do you ever think of a movie it was in, or like when you hear songs, where do you go?
A movie is a soundtrack. Music is a soundtrack of your life. The songs that really thwart you, that throw you for a loop, that make you catch your breath and go, "Wow, I was there that day," or "This is what happened that made me like this song," or "This is what made me relate to this song." That's always that. Like but this particular song was in one war movie I had seen.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what war movie. Could have been Apocalypse Now. I don't know. Maybe in A Great Neighborhood. It wasn't A Great Neighborhood, but I remember the sun was shining that day. And on the corners, the reason why I really liked going to my mom's dry cleaner at that time was because on the corner there was an Italian ice pizza joint that had the pizzas out on the racks and the Italian ice. And I would go in there and he'd give me a sherbet Italian ice with Sprite, a 7-Up, and you shake it up really good, like you stir it, not shake
Like
it up.
lemon lime Italian ice?
Yeah, no, it was a sherbet.
Oh, like orange.
And they called them something like something up there. But that's why I went to the Bronx and they give you a long spoon and you had to beat the ice cream.
And you were allowed to walk around that area.
I had a permission to walk to the corner. But I would go, hey, I'm going to go into the store, and then I would come out the side door. You know, like places on a corner have two doors? They have like one door going in and one going out.
Yeah.
So I would go out the side door, walk up the street, then walk back in that door and walk out the side door.
Just so you didn't break the rule?
Yeah, what took you so long? I was in there. There was a big line. Gino was talking to whoever. I don't remember if that's a guy's name or what. But I remember those memories in the Bronx and the dry cleaners. I remember the guy upstairs. There was a black chef. The black chef doubled as the ironing guy, okay? And his name is Mike, and I really liked Mike. I talked to Mike a lot. He had just come back from Vietnam. And Mike was the guy that took the clothes off like these pseudo-hangers and then put them on a thing, and he would press them.
Yeah.
That's what Mike did.
My grandfather was a dry cleaner for his entire life.
Yeah, that's what he did.
You never really talked about the dry cleaner. Like, how long did she have it for?
Maybe 2 years of my youth. It had come along. What happened was it was a partner's, it was somebody else's, and then when they became partners in the numbers operation, it was a co-pseudo office for my mother. It was her little pit stop in the Bronx. She'd go upstairs, check out the numbers. But that guy, Mike, we used to call him Black Mike. We used to call him Mike Black because there was two Mikes.
Okay.
So it was a Negro Mike, Mike Negro. Mike Negro and Mike Blanco. Mike Blanco had something on the corner. He did something, and Mike Negro was the dude who ironed the clothes. But at 3 o'clock, Mike El Negro, no, I'm lying to you guys. At about 11, Mike El Negro would go upstairs and cook for the bookies upstairs. So upstairs on top of the dry cleaner wasn't a small bookie office. It was a central office where all their bookies called in their action.
So like a main bookie?
It was like a main bookie. So my mom split the details with this dude named Nelson. Nelson was a good friend of my father's. So it was maybe on the third floor. And Nelson would have a blackboard. And he would have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 9. And under that, they would yell numbers at him. 604, $10. And he would look to 604 and put $10 on it. And if you called back and said 604, $20, then that board had $10 on it already. If you called $30 on it, it became 40. And they watched that number until money was too high on that number. Then they called $150,000. Now, in gambling terms, if somebody's listening to this and they're a bookie, I don't know how big this is, but as far as somebody, $250,000 minimum on a Sunday and
That's
Saturday.
$1 million a month.
In college basketball. Not what he was losing,
but just betting.
What he was betting.
Right.
Okay? John Gotti, well-known, degenerate, $12 million a year, making, netting, and probably gambling $6 million of that away.
Jesus. What about, and I don't know him at all, but Ben Affleck has been kicked out of almost a ton of casinos. That's what you're saying. You don't want it on display, and he's on TMZ getting kicked out of casinos for playing too much blackjack.
Is that true?
Yeah, he got kicked out. I think it was the Hard Rock last year. He wins too much money.
Well, he's not a degenerate gambler. If he wins, obviously he's doing something. Maybe he gets accused of counting or something, whatever. But my point being that you don't want people to know you have that habit,
Right.
Or you don't want your, you can't back the. If I put a bet in tomorrow for $75,000 in Vegas, I don't know if they look at my tax returns. I'm not sure. But let's say I win and I win $75,000 in Vegas. Call me up and go, hey, so you make $100,000 a year, but you had the balls to bet $75,000 on a football game?
I think over
right?
$500. I think you have to sign something.
Yes.
Jesus.
Well, no, yeah, 6 something. Oh, yeah. When I was a kid and I used to go to the track with Mr. Bender, I would be that kid. I would use their winnings to my Social Security card.
And it never came back on you?
No, I was 13. How much could I make in a year?
Cats are weird, man. I told you I had a lot of fun looking after your cats, but I've always been a dog person because I was allergic to cats, and then all the cats that I interacted with were like the hiding cats, the cats that you never see when you're at their house. But I don't know what it is about your cats that just, I'm not gonna say they're like dogs, but they play.
I gave them love.
Yeah.
I gave them a lot of love. I saw where they came from. I don't know either. I sit there some nights and I look down, there's 3 of them looking at me, and I try to give them more love. I get on my hands and knees and I'll go get a brush and I'll brush them, and I have no problem with them. We have to give one of them Prozac. Superbad is just an attack thing.
Really?
He just keeps fighting with Harry all night. You hear it. Back and forth, the noises. And this was never like this until Fidel died, because they created a power vacuum. Superbad beats up on them. Superbad's main war is with Harry, and they go back and forth. Some weeks Harry runs away from Superbad. Some weeks Superbad runs away from Harry. Because the more love I give to these comics, the more love I give to these people that listen to the podcast, is the better I get as a comedian and a human being. A lot of comics don't know that. Look at all your really successful comics right now. Bill Burr has a young tribe of comics that he helps and works with. Joe Rogan, Jesus Christ, I'm indebted to him. Ari, Duncan, Tom Segura, in one way or another. And that's what I saw last night. When I was looking at all those people eating and smiling, people chewing those ribs and people giggling, and he had this Christmas sweater on, I didn't feel, like I had to be anything. Or you follow what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, you weren't on. You didn't have to be on. What you have to be a lot.
It wasn't being on. It was that nobody was there being something that they weren't. Joey Carrata here. Those are the people. I could take you to those parties, Lee. I could take you to a rooftop party overlooking Los Angeles, and people eating gluten-free kumquats. And we know what I was drinking last night? Strawberry lemonade, and I had a glass of water.
And you had a better time.
And I had a better time. So there's 2 types of parties I can take you to. A party where people want to see you. Listen, Lee, how long have we been together?
5 years.
How many premieres have I gone to? Just the one.
Yeah.
And it was because I was in the movie. Do I go to parties?
Not usually.
Do I go to rooftop parties? Do I go to bars to sit in VIP section and drink champagne and bottle service? Is that what I do, Lee?
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I could go to them. I'm just embarrassed. I would be embarrassed. At a little Irish bar in the corner. And one of my first dates with Terry, I went in there. I had no money. It was a $50 Rudy. Oh, Thursday nights was the Commerce Casino.
Oh, okay.
Rudy Moreno. So I knew Rudy had something, but I think Tuesday nights he had the Irish House. And one night I went down there on one of our first dates with Terry. And I was on stage rocking and rolling, talking about Blow. And when I was on stage, some guy threw his wallet at me.
Why?
I don't know. And when I got off stage, there was a little door there, and I opened it up, and I took a $100 bill and gave it to the guy and put the 100 in my pocket. He said, thanks, man. And I ran out of there with Terry. But I was out 3 spots a week.
How many miles do you think you were putting on your car a year back then?
First off, I didn't have a new car. I had a thing that was a nightmare from debt.
Right.
And I would just drive, no brakes, no registration, no insurance. That's it. I just took my chance until it got towed. And that's hence the story. My apartment got towed because I lived in my car.
Right. But you were driving, for people who don't know, just the Laugh Factory to Universal City is probably like what, a 30, 40-minute drive?
No.
If traffic.
In those days, it wasn't that traffic. I did 8 o'clock at night. I put too much into this. Listen, and don't get me wrong. In 2009, I was not going to quit the business. I was going to quit an aspect of this business.
Right.
I wanted to turn it around. I wanted to get a day job, or at least I thought that, because that's a fantastic dream for a guy like me, is going back to sell cars, is doing something like this at this point. Why, I don't know. For some reason, I have this stupid belief that, but what was the subject?
About not giving up.
You can't.
Right.
You can't. You can't. My knee is killing me. My knee is killing me. Do you know that? I can't even walk straight anymore.
Jesus.
I tore the cartilage, but I got a jiu-jitsu eyes for 3 or 4 more months. I'm up to like 3 5-minute rolls right now. If I could get 6 rolls in 3 months and start doing those 6 times, 5 minutes, I'll go down to 260 in no time. I want it before I go back to surgery and get out of shape again and have to start all over again.
Oh, Jesus.
You follow what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Sometimes we put so much effort, it's worth it. I want to go in there with stronger legs from the kettlebells. I want to go in there, you know what I'm saying? So the knee surgery is a lot easier. I'm not feeling bone on bone yet. I'm not dying. I'm not living on a leave. I'm not living on painkillers. It's not that type of pain. I'm not going to lie to anybody. It's just uncomfortable when I drive and my leg twists, stuff like that. Let me give some shout outs here.
Okay.
To my girl, Carmelita, 69J, Danny Rodriguez, Dave Drancel, my man, the Australian Warrior, Andrew Burns, Dante Gazzinio, Polo Derek, and that's it. I just want to talk to these people a little bit and just
Hell yeah.
get it out there a little bit. And again, MeUndies, you'll feel more comfortable than ever before. MeUndies has a ton of different colors to choose from, and it's the only place you'll find styles for both men and women and the new signature design every month. They also just launched a boxer line, and it's like wearing nothing at all, only better. And they sent me these blue pajamas I wear now to sleep. There's air in there, and the holidays around the corner. MeUndies makes a perfect gift. Trust me, these are not your parents' stocking stuffers. So do me a favor, go to MeUndies.com right now /Joey, and right now and get 20% off your first order plus free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. Again, go to MeUndies.com /Joey to get 20% off your first order plus free shipping in U.S. and Canada. MeUndies even has a money-back guarantee. If you don't love your first pair, you get to keep it and get a full refund. You literally have nothing to lose. If you would have ordered by December 13th, I think your undies would have arrived in time for Christmas. But hey, just tell them you can't come over for a few days. Go there right now. Go to MeUndies /Joey right now. That's MeUndies.com /Joey right now. And get 20% off your first order of the world's most comfortable underwear.
I'm pumped. Right? I don't know why that just got me in the mood. I had the best. As a kid, I grew up, and my dad's best friends always had these great Christmas Eve parties. Like this Italian family, and I used to go over, and they used to so many gifts. Like they had someone dressed up as Santa. They were giving me gifts, 20, 30 people. I knew them for my entire life. The Lombardos. They're
where are they now?
They still some of them are with my dad in Florida. Most of them still live on the East Coast. But now the kids who were my age are taking over the family business. So it's pretty cool.
What's the family business?
Lombardos. They have
food.
Yeah, it used to be a grocery store, but now they have a banquet hall and a nightclub that's where my dad met the guy. So it's just, I was always jealous of Christmas as a Jewish kid because Hanukkah's not. I mean, it's okay. There's more nights, but it's not.
You don't get presents like Christmas?
No, you do. You still get presents, but it's not. The first time I ever experienced Christmas Day, my cousin married a Christian girl, and I went and stayed over when the kids were young, maybe 5 and 3 or something like that. And
how old were you?
Maybe high school, maybe just going into high school, somewhere around there. No, because that was one of the first times I drank, so probably late high school. And Christmas morning, I'd never seen anything like it. They had so many toys, and they were so excited that they fell asleep under the tree. They were just so happy. They were just and they still had toys to unwrap. And I've always just, Christmas it seems like the best. There's Jewish people now who are doing Hanukkah bushes so they can have a Hanukkah tree. And my mom hates it. My mom, nothing pisses her off more than a fake Hanukkah bush because it's not real, but it's
it's just some people's traditions or the culture. Like, for example, you went to school and the kids are talking about Christmas. You want to Americanize them in a way, and you get a Hanukkah bush. And I know where your mom's coming from. These kids are Americanized. You have to Americanize. At the end of the line, this is it. This is it. Diaz, how much you putting up? He's a homeless kid that lives in that park. And he's a nice kid. He comes over and he's not like us. He came up to me one time at the Roach Coach thing, and I had an ATM card, and I had already paid, but I had the baby. And he came over, and he's like, I'm homeless. Can you help me out, Joey? And I go, dog, I have $3 on me. I'll give you the $3. You're halfway there. You know, I got the baby and the wife with me. I had like an ATM that day.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw him another time, and I had to go meet somebody. Like, I was in a rush, and I was driving, and I saw him, and I pulled over. And then I saw him the other day with my daughter, and he came over, and again, I had no cash. I was feeding the baby at the park. And you feel guilty, you know, especially this time of the year, you see him. Listen, man, I hate this time of the year.
Really?
Not that I hate it. It just doesn't feel right to me, you know? And it hasn't felt right since, I don't know. It just, Josh Piscini, he's a black belt under Eddie in Chicago, runs a really great school, Josh Piscini. And he wrote a Facebook entry today about, you know, while you're jumping up and down, there's people who have lost a loved one or, you know, just having a bad time. You know, I have a friend, Mike, in Texas, who I spoke to the other day, and he just mentioned, he goes, it's not going to be a great Christmas, you know. And I didn't want to embarrass him, so I just sent him like $200 just to get, I know he's got a kid, you know. I know what it's like to be busted at Christmas, you know, busted at Christmas. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. You know what the best Christmas I had was? I'll tell you my best 2 Christmases.
Okay.
When I was 7, I went to the bar with my parents. I had heard all these rumors. There's no Santa Claus. There's no such thing as Santa Claus. There's no such thing as Santa Claus. And I went to the bar with them, and we were having a great time. And when we got back to the apartment, where we lived in 205 West 88th Street, the house was covered with toys.
Aww.
And I know both of them didn't leave my side all night. So I really bought into the Santa Claus thing. The house, I still remember, we lived on 205 West 88th Street, and they moved the dinner table and put a tree in the middle of the living room. One thing about my mom was she had the uncanny gift to make those holidays even better. There's some people who do that. Like, they really know how to make those holidays even better. They really dive into it, you know. And she was one of those people. Not just Christmas, birthdays, you know, little things. She really knew how to make them better. And then the best Christmas I had, the Christmas I realized what Christmas was about, was the Christmas I spent in jail. Best Christmas of my life.
Those are 2 very different Christmases.
No pressure. It was really what Christmas was about. I want to see a Christmas where a family goes, you know what, this Christmas, there's no expensive gifts, there's nothing. We're going to get together, we're going to eat, but we're not going to give gifts. We're just going to eat and talk as a family and blah, 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 blah.
It's amazing how much pressure gifts are, because that's the only reason people get upset during
pressure.
Christmas. Yeah,
it's pressure.
I walk into a movie theater like a hooker walks into a bar.
I stopped at 7-Eleven and got them from time to time, but I wouldn't walk. I didn't believe in walking at all.
Why not? It was just too hard.
I would make Rogan drop me off in front of the hotels. I got to park over there. You better not park over there. You want to be an Olympic walker? Do it on your own time. You drop me off in front of that hotel. I don't need to walk, Jack. Right there. Drop me off.
That was the worst part about Vegas when I was big. Because Vegas, you're just non-stop walking.
I wouldn't leave my room in those days. Once I had the blow, I would sit in that room till showtime. And right after the show, I'd run back to that hotel, lock that door, and do powder. I was in horrible shape, man. That's why that sleep apnea overtook me that strong. I used to fall asleep and burn the carpeting with cigarettes and joints. The carpeting in that apartment, I had to buy new carpeting.
Jesus. Did you ever set the floor on fire?
Oh, my God. Terry came out one night and caught it just in time. The bottom of it had gone through. It was just basically a lot of times I would just drop the cigarette and fall asleep for 10 minutes or something and then catch it and put the flames out. This night, it burned through the carpet.
And what would your excuse be?
I fell asleep. She knew I had sleep apnea. In those days, I used to go to bed at 2 and wake up at 3:30, and I was up. That's it. Up. up.
Would you nap later in the day?
What nap? What would I nap for? To wake up choking?
Jesus, not getting sleep is not good.
No. And then I went to Little Rock, Arkansas. You know how the club picks you up in the front of the hotel? They'll say, be down at 7:45, we'll pick you up. I sat on the couch and I fell asleep. And I started making those noises. And some guy woke me up and he says, he gave me his card. He says, I'm a physician. Do you live in town? And I go, no. He goes, listen, man, we just sat here and watched you. You're going to die. That's exactly what this guy said to me.
Oh, no.
He goes, I could tell by the color of your skin, you're not getting oxygen. You have no oxygen in your blood. He goes, I want you to go to the doctor when you get home. This is an emergency. You will not make the month.
Really?
He told me I was not going to make the month. He goes, you're choking in your sleep. And he started asking me questions. And he looked at me seriously in the eyes. And he's like, here's the deal. You have sleep apnea, but yours is extreme. Not to mention you're overweight to the gills. He was like, I hope you're not embarrassed by me saying this or angry with me. He goes, you're really overweight. And he goes, and you just telling me that your blood pressure is really high. And I was lying to him. I'm like, oh, it's like 140. He goes, no, it's not. He goes, listen, let me take your pulse. And he was taking my pulse. And he's like, listen, you're 3/4 dead. You don't even know it yet. You're going to have a heart attack. Because every time you do that, you get stuck. Your heart does something. Not that it stops, but it puts a strain on your heart.
Jesus Christ. Just in a hotel lobby?
So, dog, I got home. I told Terry. She went down there with me because I kept saying, if they give me one needle, I'm out of there.
And you were just going to, like, take it? Just be like, yeah.
No, I was just going to go down there and see what they said. And then they did the thing. Then they sent me in for a sleep study where you have to put the machine on. They take the air off, and they see where you choke. And now they know. They give you an accurate number. And then I got a machine. And I tell you, man, within 60 days, it changed my life. Nobody tells me more about bad specials than yours truly, you. Yeah. Nobody comes here every week and goes, oh, my God, I watched this special. Jesus, it was bad. What was wrong with it, Lee? They shot it bad. They did this bad. They did this bad. Nobody, correct or no?
Right, yeah.
So, you know, people ask it, when is the special coming out? When is the special coming out? Never fear the reaper.
Yeah, and I'm going to finish whatever we have, and we'll send it over. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Maybe Netflix will pick it up. Maybe we'll add something to it. Maybe we'll dope it up.
Maybe even cut it down to like 15, 20 good minutes or something.
Even I'll chop it down to 30 minutes and put it on. I just don't want to release something that they're not going to be happy with me. I want people to be happy. I want you to be happy. Speaking of happy, underwear. It needs to be comfy, snug in all the right places. It's got to look good. And it's got to feel good. You just don't want to you just don't want underwear that are comfy. You want the world's most comfortable underwear, and that's MeUndies. I love you guys. Thank you. My man, Wednesday night, February 17th. Happy birthday to my little brother, Ralphie May.
I'm going to love it.
And we're headed to Las Vegas.
I'm so excited.
I'm shooting over tomorrow. You're shooting over Friday morning. I'm doing MMA Junkie as usual. Get a couple shrimp cocktails with my man, Lee Syatt. Lee Syatt, you don't eat the oysters.
Nah, I should try them again, I guess.
What did I choke on last time? The shrimp cocktail.
You choked on a shrimp cocktail? Oh, yeah.
The shell.
I don't like that. Except for maybe the one little one at the bottom.
That's what it was. I bit into the bottom. You know me, I'm a gorilla. I almost bit my finger. I took some of the shell and I started choking on the shell. I tried to move the shell around with my throat, but I couldn't do it. That snake in me. You know, I was in the car today. I was getting home from somewhere. And the phone rang, and it was a friend of mine, James, to ask me a question. And it was funny. He started telling me about my daughter. And on paper, James is Mercy's goddad.
Right, we met.
And you met him, and I was really fortunate when it was time for me to pick a goddad. I had a couple options, you know. I could have picked Timmy. I could have picked George. I could have picked you, blah, 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 blah. And I just knew James a long time. James had a daughter, and in my world, if something happened, James automatically takes Mercy. You know, that's in my world.
When do you think about, like, godparents? Because when she first comes out, you must be so happy, happy, happy. Godparents is kind of
you know
a sad
when the baby's
thing.
born. You know when you knock somebody up. You know, if you're a guy like me, you'll think about godparents. okay, because my godparents were everything. So James calls, and James sends stuff for her birthday, and James sends stuff throughout the year, and that's all great. You know, I mean, I'm really happy that he calls, and sometimes I go say hello to James, and she goes, "Hi, James," and she'll go, "Hi, Padrino," or she'll walk away, and that's the end of the conversation. I mean, besides that, she really doesn't know what it all means, you know. But Mercy is now 3. My daughter is 3. And by this time in my life, my dad was gone.
That little forehead you got.
In real life, I don't even know who I am. I'm just a mook. I'm just the mook that hangs out with another mook.
Is that your title in your corporation?
Yeah,
Head mook?
Head mook.
The assistant to the assistant
I
mook?
thought about it since like 2 o'clock, since the phone call went down, my buddy. Because there's times I miss him. Like when we first started the podcast, it was about second chances. You know, I'm going to be 53 on Friday. And I wish I could apologize to him. I've tried to look him up on, you know, the social media outlets, the Googles, but word on the street, he retired to Key West with the wife, and they bought a little house. You know what the sick thing about this, Lee? That this even wasn't over the money. This wasn't over the drug addiction. This is over my anger for him. Because I wanted him to be my white knight, my knight in shining armor. If anybody was going to come through from all my experiences with him, I thought he always was going to come through. When I saw him on that street, Lee, I thought all my problems were over. I thought I didn't even have to ask. Do you know what I'm saying? I thought he would take a look at me, and he knew me so well, he'd say, "Get in the car. We're going to my house, and we're going to wash you up and get you a job and get you a car, and we're going to get you on your feet." That's what I thought he was going to say to me. In turn, he didn't say any of those things. He didn't say he wasn't going to help me, but he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like until he started bringing up the coke and we started having little chats. And like I said, I didn't attack him right away for the coke. I milked him little by little, and then I would make a bigger, like clockwork. I would call him 6 times a week. When I was do those gigs late night, I'd call him at 11 o'clock at night. "Dio, what's going on?" We'd talk for 45 minutes about Cuba, music, testosterone. You know, I was contacting him more than his kids. I took him to a few baseball games. I invited, you know, I used to take him to breakfast with my daughter and my wife. I mean, I did everything I can. He was the first, the second guy to show up at the hospital. My wife had the baby. I mean, you know. And one day it just ended. What do you want me to do, Lee? Do you want me to go knock on his door and apologize and try to rekindle it? We gave it a shot. It didn't work out. I'm cool with that. He got to meet my daughter. He got to meet my wife. And he got to see me in a great place. He really did. I'm cool with my uncle because my uncle got to see me in a great place. He got to watch Grudge Match. He watched The Longest Yard. He watched Spider-Man. He came to watch me do stand-up. We had him on the podcast in the old place.
Right, the first office.
The first office. I mean, I was cool with my uncle. We haven't spoken now for a year. Do I miss him? Yeah, I miss him. But you know what, Lee? That just wasn't meant to be. And I live with that every day like a man. And listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not mad at all. I'm hurt that he hasn't reached out to my daughter. That destroys me because that's something that has nothing to do with her. That's what gets under my skin. That he could put an envelope. He doesn't need to send $10, nothing. Just a card to say mercy from your great uncle Lazaro, and I'd be straight with it. But for him to shut him and my wife off, my wife liked my uncle. My wife dug my uncle. She got a kick out of him.
No gi! Okinawan fathers, the sushi chef. Respect!
That's it. Give me the sponsor sheets. What are you looking at me all weird for? What do you got tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I have a couple consultations.
Look at you, Johnny. Consultations. More
I
consultations than consultations.
know, it's been good.
You know, it's funny. Ever since I've been reading up on these guys, at the end of my workouts lately, I just sit there and I breathe and I close my eyes and I look at my third eye like you're doing right now. And this headspace stuff, it's tremendous. Because let's be honest, most of your problems start with your mind. Fear, which I have a ton of when I go to jiu-jitsu, anger, that's me, stress, depression, sleeplessness. Go to headspace.com/Joey, all right? That's what I'm trying to say to you. What's up, Lee?
I'm doing great, man.
You're over there in your own meditation little world, aren't
I
you?
am. I'm doing the Headspace Take 10 program.
All right, beautiful. You need to start it. Also, who's better than you guys? You smokes a few roots, you eat your blue apron, now you're sitting there. You're thinking, Joey, I'm sitting here, I'm a little hungry. Boom! This one, Uncle Joey comes in. The church is also brought to you by NatureBox.com, dedicated to making smart, delicious snacks easy, okay? Beautiful, alpha brain, always making it happen, making you focus, 100% money back guarantee. We don't even want the product back, okay? You want kettlebells, they got kettlebells. You want the heavy kettlebells, they got the heavy kettlebells. You want hemp protein, they got hemp protein. You want,
The DVDs, they have supplements, they have...
Listen, do me a favor, go to honor.com right now. I can't help you with the DVDs, and I can't help you with the kettlebells, but with the supplements, I'll get you 10% off your first order, all right? And if you do the Stay On It program, it gets delivered to your door. Listen, like Nature Box, to your door every month on the 1st. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. One beautiful podcast. Uncle Joey here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the church of what's happening now. My main man and little brother, Mr. Lee Syatt, here with me. It's been a while since we've been on. The last time we were on, I haven't seen you. You got sick all weekend.
Do you get the flu shot? I never get it, and now
No,
I think
don't
I'm going
get it.
to.
You just got to wash your hands. But they say that putting that antibacterial on your hands is also bad for you because it breaks down your hand's own ability of breaking down germs.
Right,
So-
it breaks down your immune system. But the thing that blew my mind as I got older, when I grew up, my parents always stressed covering your nose, covering your mouth. I see people now just sneezing into the air.
We got no class. We got no nothing. I see people sneezing into their hand and opening up a door. The thing that gets me sick is when I smoke pot with people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like if I smoke at night after a show, my adrenaline's so high, I'm just smoking to smoke. I don't get high till I go back to the hotel room. You have these charades in life when you're younger. What's going to happen? You know, you watch Pitbull and he's jumping up and down with 200 Spanish women. Or you watch, whatever. Whatever your illusion,
Bless you.
which it grabs you. Let me get one of those drops again. And you, when I was growing up, I had this thing. I always had this illusion. And then it became a charade.
You just started believing all the stuff you were saying?
Well, no, it wasn't what I was saying. And when I was like 17, I got it in my mind that when my mom died, that she had hidden money. And that when I was 21, I was going to get this money. And it was something that... It was either the money was hidden or my stepfather was going to sell the house and give me this exuberant amount of money that I thought I had coming to me.
And,
So-
and no one told you this. It was just in your head.
It was in my head. I like the guy that's a millionaire that acts like the guy that has $3. That's the guy I want to be. If for some reason I invented oil and somebody gave me $10 billion, I would still drive my Subaru, Lee. I would like to dress a little nicer with suits or whatever, but that would last for a week. Until I got into a car and rip a pair of pants like a gorilla that I am. There's so many things that I couldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Like 2 or 3 years ago, I think we were still doing the podcast in my apartment. You mentioned that you were thinking about getting a Cadillac. Why didn't you decide to do that?
Oh, because a guy from a Cadillac dealership hit me up and said that he works in service and they were really bad cars.
Oh,
and
okay. I didn't know if it
whatnot.
was a money decision. Okay.
No. Well, part of it was a money decision. I was having a child, and I didn't want to pay $400, $500, $600 for a lease a month. I don't have anything to justify paying that much a month for a car for my lifestyle and what I do. I don't need that. I don't need a $700 car payment. I don't understand that. I always wanted a car payment from being in the car business all those years. I always wanted a car payment that if something went wrong, I could always borrow it for 2 or 3 months. Like I've always said to you, I could come to you and go, Lee, I got a Subaru. Can I borrow 248 for 2 months? And I could probably get that from you. But if I come to you and say, I got a BMW 5 Series, can I borrow 750 from you for 2 months? You're going to go, it's time to sell that car.
Exactly. How many? Speaking of people living in studio apartments in Hollywood, how many people have you seen driving one of those cars into a studio apartment?
It's break time. Fleet, did you? I know you got the fleet. You didn't get high tonight on that shit. Look,
What are you talking about?
less than $1,000 a month, from 95 to 2,000, and snorting blow and buying clothes and child support and just putting it together, plane tickets. Then I met Terry. And she started lending me the little money that she had. But 2004 when I got the longest yard, that was the first. I mean, I had gotten a few paychecks, Spider-Man 2. I did a bunch of movies that I got paychecks on that took care of things to the next paycheck. But the big paycheck that bailed me out was the longest yard. And that didn't bail me out completely. That just bailed me out a quarter.
And so what happened at 30 that you stopped caring about being poor?
I hit rock bottom. Something I never thought would happen. I just hit rock bottom. That's it. I lost all my credit cards. I lost my wife. I lost my job. I lost everything. I had to start from scratch. In 1991 and 1993, I started from scratch at the age of 30. So once you have a little dough, you make dough, you get locked up, you sell some drugs, whatever. Now you lose everything. Once you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. Nothing really affects me now. Nothing really affects me. I keep my rent low. I keep my bills low. I'm not looking at my savings account. I just don't live like an animal. There's 1,000 things I could do. I just don't do it. Not because I'm cheap. I just don't want to do it. I don't understand.
Is it a fear of losing it again, do you think, or no?
Not at all. I don't do blow. I don't do anything that I would lose it.
But you could lose it a normal way, just the economy or, I don't know.
What, the stock market? We're not stock markets. I go out on the weekend and make a living. A movie calls me up. I get union wages. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, it's going to slow up. It's going to dry up, and you're always prepared. I don't care if you have $20 million. You're always concerned if you're going to lose your money or lose what you've worked for. And I'm still slow. Hey, listen, we're human. Plus, I'm 53. My metabolism is a lot slower. That's what I went online. I talked to a trainer friend of mine. He goes, maybe you have to do those HIIT workouts. But he goes, I really don't want you to do an elliptical. I told him I was thinking about doing your workout. Go in the advanced class and roll more and get your heart going that way. I'd rather you do. Jesus Christ. Just thinking about it. But it's great to be responsible, man. I don't know what goals you guys have or what you want to do, but log everything down. I log everything down. And it's really weird. Weight Watchers teaches you that, to write everything down, and you look at it at the end of the week and you go, ooh, I went to Yum Yums and I ate 2 donuts that night, and I went to this place and I had a piece of Lee's cake. Sometimes if it's just 2 bites of a cake, I'll put a piece of cake. And you have to write in there subjectively and honestly. Like, I didn't do well tonight. I just didn't do well. My timing was off. I read one from, the reason why I'm talking about it is because I wrote the one, it's the end of the month. I wrote the one from Valentine's Day, which I said 3 minutes in. Why would I say something like that? Little things. I can't listen to myself. That would really hurt my feelings. This is the closest I could do. But I have to be brutally honest with myself. If you're not brutally honest with yourself when you're record keeping, you're just cooking books. So why are you even doing it? If you're just going to tell me that you did great, every night I did great, I killed, I lit that room on fire. Maybe in your world I lit that room on fire, but I did a set that I had been doing for the last 3 weeks. I got to knock that off. You follow me? That's what I write in there.
Where did this come from? Was this when you learned? Was this when you learned to write your goals down, or you?
I learned the comedy on my own. The comedy and the acting I learned on my own. I like looking back at things. I like looking back at things and see who you read for. Oh my God, I have a relationship with her. It's very important. I learned this from telemarketing. Anyway, Like I said, man, this is what this podcast is about. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes we torture Lee, sometimes they torture me, and sometimes we just, disclose things about your life. They keep a record of everything. I don't know why I started the comedy. It's really weird. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors. I do it now. I'm not going to lie to anybody. When I wake up in the mornings now, I sit and I relax with no music on, no sound, and I just let my mind go. And sometimes I get on the floor and I breathe, and sometimes I just sit there and just breathe and feel my internal. No matter how you look at it, it's a form of meditation. Let's be honest. Most of your problems start with your mind. Fear, anger, stress, anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, they begin in your head, but they can wreck your life. It doesn't have to be that way. You can make a major difference in just 10 minutes a day. All right? 10 minutes a day. This change comes through guided meditation with the new Headspace app. You could show me, what are you talking about? Headspace is a meditation made simple.